Good morning, Nerd League and No Man's Sky fans, travelers, and fellow interlopers. Welcome to the third episode of NMS's Life, where No Man's Sky is more than just a game, it's a way of life. I'm Nerd Down Dylan, and with me, as always, is my friend and fellow host, DG Squared. Good morning, Deej. How was your weekend?
Greetings, travelers. My weekend was fabulous, very relaxing. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, another image has been revealed through the Myriad app. We got a nice image of a cool-looking ship, something that looks like it could be a multi-manned thing. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But today we have a special guest on our show. It's our first episode with a special guest, so it's a big day for us, and he's a member of many NMS communities and one hell of a Permadeath pilot. We have Alexicek from the No Man's Sky community. Alex, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Excellent.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yes, nice to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us. So you've undergone an incredible journey. Not only have you punched through the galactic core on Permadeath, but you've gone through all of the galaxies and have made it to and through the final galactic core. Tell us a bit about that journey. When did it all start, and how did you did you plan on going through all the cores, or did you just want to get through the first one and then just kind of take it from there?
When I started the journey, I wanted to go through all the cores, but I haven't always wanted to do that. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing when we kind of had a release date for Next, and it was not for many months. So I thought, what am I going to do till then? So I thought, going on some big voyage like this, it gave me a purpose and a kind of a goal to try and get there before Next hits.
That's awesome. So when you went through the first galactic core, that's a big like, I guess, a sigh of relief. It's a big challenge that you've been able to defeat. When you got through that first core, did you kind of take a break and just kind of revel in your victory, I guess, or did you just start hammering through all the cores immediately after that?
I more or less started hammering straight away. I think before I set off was the big kind of preparation. So whilst I was in Euclid still, whilst I was at the hub, I took advantage of all the knowledge there and stocked up on all the resources I would need to kind of more or less go all the way. And then kind of just set off.
And did you have any close calls that where you almost lost it all?
With Permadeath, it's never completely safe as you would like.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I had to come to terms with when you go through the galaxies, you obviously, all your equipment gets broken, all your kind of suit tech and your ship tech and your multi-tool tech, and to repair it in every galaxy would take a long time and take a lot of resources. So I used the trick of being able to preserve tech that's in tech slots. So I put all my core tech of my suit into my tech slots. So all my kind of theta shields and theta weather stuff. So that was protected. So every galaxy jump, that didn't break. So it kept me alive. But I didn't repair my ship properly, and I didn't repair my multi-tool at all. So throughout the kind of galaxies, if I was fighting with sentinels, it was with my fists. If I was fighting with pirates, it was without shields. I had weapons in my tech slots, so I had good weapons. But yeah, so it was a little bit risky at times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Did you get?
I had a few glitches along the way, and those were the more scary problems. I was stuck in one galaxy, in about galaxy 200-ish, and I couldn't get to the core. When I was in the galaxy map, it kept throwing me off thousands of light years. I've never had that in any other galaxy or since, but it took me forever to overcome the glitch.
That would be the worst. Like, I know, like you say, there's a lot of close calls you have. Anytime, anyone that plays Permadeath, it's always risky. But to lose everything because you get blown up by a pirate or get killed by an animal or something, that's one thing. But yeah, to lose everything to a glitch, that would just be devastating, you know?
I wouldn't have died to the glitch. It was more that I couldn't get through to the next galaxy.
Oh, right.
Thankfully, in the end, I slowly hopped from planet to planet and got to the core jump system.
Did you get all your journey milestones along the way, or?
I had most of them. To be honest, I was fairly advanced in Permadeath when I set off. I have like a full S-class fleet, S-class freighter, all the kind of upgrades, everything basically.
Oh, wow.
I've done everything you can possibly do, really.
Yeah, that's including go through all the galaxies, which is incredible.
The only thing that I've still not completed in this particular save, I've done it previously, but in this particular save, I've not yet got all the language. Although along the way, I got a lot of the language because you're visiting lots of monoliths and things. So
Yeah.
I think I've got about 2/3 of the language now.
Oh wow. So when you got through the final core, did anything special happen, and where are you now?
Well, the final core was a big surprise because I didn't expect what happened to happen. I was kind of in Galaxy 255, and the knowledge that I had so far was that there was 256 galaxies, and then they probably start to repeat themselves, and then they progress onwards. So I had the plan that I was going to jump to 256 as the final galaxy, and then make a jump to the 257, 258 just to see what was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point restock, refuel, and then progress more. And I was thinking maybe there's like 500 galaxies or 1,000 galaxies, or who knows exactly how many galaxies there are.
Right.
But when I jumped from 255, I actually ended up back in Euclid. And it was actually Euclid. I went to test everything. I went to visit my base. I went to visit my friends' bases.
All in Euclid?
In Euclid, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So from 255, at least for me, PC Permadeath, it jumped straight back to Euclid.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Which is really interesting, Alex, because a lot of the data that we have on others who have also crossed in other modes have witnessed a mirroring effect where you go back to Euclid, but you can't interact with any bases. It's as if it's an empty Euclid with no other travelers. So what you discovered is really interesting. Yes.
Do you know? I don't know. Do you know of other people that have made the full journey without glitching or anything, who've actually traveled there?
Yes, Genetic Code is one of the travelers who's made it. I think he's done it twice in 2 different saves.
And which platform and mode was he on?
I believe it was PS4, and I think he's got a creative mode. I think he has a normal mode that's done it as well. But I'm not entirely positive. He's got several modes.
I'm not sure why there's a difference. It's a bit strange that there's a difference. But
I kind of wonder. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, for me, I definitely went back to Euclid, and it wasn't a glitch because I've repeated it since then. I recorded it all on a stream as well, so it was Euclid. I could see my base. I could see Niblet's base. I could see comms. I went to the Amino hub, and I reloaded back in the 255th galaxy, and I did it all over again. And it happened again, exactly the same.
Right. Which is proof that that's the way it's supposed to be, or at least at this time. I often wonder if it's, perhaps they've done a stealth patch, HG that is, within the servers, so that players can still take advantage of the upcoming multiplayer coming up.
Yeah, it's possible.
Perhaps they made a change and they just sort of made a loop, and then you come back and you're able to do it again. I'm really not sure, but it's really interesting how there's 2 different outcomes.
I know there's some players that have decided to try and get back to Euclid before Next hits now that they've seen it's possible, because some people wanted to get back to Euclid and there's not been a way until now.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting if they get there, if they also manage to get back to Euclid.
Yeah, and after Next, I'd be interested to see if if the servers do the same thing. Does it go back to Euclid, or have they created a different scenario?
It might be very different. None of us knows what's happening on Next. Some people have said it might just be one big galaxy as opposed to like 255 galaxies or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder. Right. I wonder if they'll actually rewrite that mechanic, and just have one wild open server that everyone can join.
It's going to be fascinating to find out.
Yeah, yeah. Or I wonder if there's just going to be a way to travel from galaxy to galaxy. If someone's in a previously visited galaxy, maybe we just have a way to travel backwards. Like, who knows, right? We don't, like you say, we don't know until it drops.
What I hoped was that at least make it so that it's only one way. Like, you can only travel backwards if you've actually traveled there in the first place.
I agree.
I think if they make it so that it's like now the portal codes where you can essentially dial anywhere in a system or in a galaxy. If they make it so that you can do that through the galaxies, it kind of makes the journey kind of irrelevant.
It dampens the experience.
The journey's
It
part of the
does.
fun.
Yeah,
it is.
Fun of
I
exploring.
agree.
yeah. I've said the
and
same
I've
thing.
done
You need
many
to
of
leave
them
some form
myself.
of journey there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Traveling backwards, I think, would be okay, but I wouldn't want to. I don't know if you want to call it cheating. I wouldn't want to go, to the 12th galaxy if I've never been there. But just previously visited ones would make sense. But I wonder, I've never actually thought of, like you just mentioned, that just one big server like EVE Online or Elite Dangerous, when it's just, you just join a server and everybody's in the same type of thing. But at the same time, I guess that would also take away going through galaxies, right? And would kind of also take away from the experience that we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but there would be a new experience, and there would be a definitive end of that galaxy that people could travel to.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's much the same. I guess it's just different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that or what the need would be, but
yeah, or if they will, like you say,
next is around the corner. We'll have to.
I know. Yeah.
Yes, less than a month away.
Yeah, yeah. And how excited are you for that, Alex?
Oh, very excited. I don't think you can meet a No Man's Sky that's not excited.
Yeah.
It's going to change the game completely.
Yeah. And did you see that new image that was released, the third image from the Myriad app?
The ships.
Yeah.
The kind of ships. Yeah. I've seen it. I don't know what it is, but...
I don't know. And DG and I were talking this morning. Like, I don't know if it's... to me, it looks like it's big. Like, it could be a multi-manned type of ship or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a co-op multiplayer vessel where we can combine our efforts together on a single ship.
Yeah.
As it stands now, there's no way of having another player on any of our other ships, including our own freighters. So it'll be interesting how they're going to implement that and the ship they've given us. Is that a freighter? Is it a ship? We're not clear on exactly what kind of vessel that is, but it sure is interesting and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
I've even seen some people in the aminos and everything saying that it could be like an underwater vessel, even. Like, who knows? It kind of does look like a bit of a submarine or something, like it could be anything.
Could be anything.
Yeah. So
did you guys see the speculation that's, well, I can't remember what it was exactly, but there was some guy that supposedly had an early copy of Next to do the ESB kind of ratings. And he wrote down a load of stuff.
Was that what you had, DG?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly last week on whether or not it was a legitimate.
Because I'm sure he's commented on these ships during that. I mean, nobody knows if it's legitimate.
Yeah.
But he certainly had some opinions which, if they're not far-fetched, I mean, you could realistically say that he could have some inside knowledge.
It's possible. Yeah.
But he seemed, I can't remember exactly what he said about the ships, but I think it was more like they house various NPCs that do various other, I don't know, like missions or tasks or things.
Yeah, you can see other ships coming in and landing and doing other things, right? NPCs doing, I guess, going about their own business.
But how it's different from freighters as they are at the moment, who knows?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'd love to be able to board another player's freighter and conduct trade on their freighter and vice versa.
Yeah.
But that
would be a really big thing.
As the game stands now, if it's proper multiplayer, if we can all see each other's ships, that's going to be amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be
wild.
wild.
Next
to each other.
Yeah.
I can almost imagine the ship shows like a car show, show and shine, and everybody shows up to show off their favorite ship.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little bit worried that there's going to be a difference between geographical regions, because I'm not quite sure how they'll make it. So, like, for example, you guys are American or Canadian, and I'm European. Will we be able to meet up together, or will it be kind of region locked or something?
Yeah, I kind of wondered.
Well,
go ahead.
Aside from being PC based, I don't know if those servers will actually be joined. But I would imagine that time shouldn't make that much of a difference from one location on Earth to another, because we're all playing in a time that is current on the game itself. So I guess if I enter a system and it's say 8 o'clock, when you enter the system, technically it should be the same time.
Yeah.
For
The thing
multiplayer
is,
to work, it kind of has to. It has to be
Yeah.
real time. And it kind of works like that on servers with first-person shooters, right? Everybody
Yeah.
joins in a server, and they're all playing in real time, whatever that time is.
Yeah. I wonder though, like, because I ran into this a while ago when I was playing Diablo. Actually, I was playing with Mick Momster and Shaggy, and because Mick and I are in North America, and the Shagster was in the UK. He had all his stuff in a UK or a UK server, and we were locked into a North American server.
Right.
I know there are games. I think EVE Online, I think, is just one server, and it doesn't matter if you're European or if you're North American. I think everyone's still in the same server, and it runs fairly well. As far as I know, I don't know if they have multiple servers. I've never been asked to join like a different server or a North American server, not like World of Warcraft or one of those games. But I wonder if the fan base is big enough or if it's okay enough to just run everything on one massive server.
Well, hopefully Hello Games has thought of all of this and
I'm sure
really
they have
fleshed out
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be really disappointing if we're all ready for this multiplayer and then
Yeah.
half of us can't meet each other because of where we live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I wonder how
It's already
itself to it.
difficult because we've got PC and PlayStation and now
Yeah.
Xbox. So
But-
unless there's also
right-
crossplay, I mean, crossplay would be amazing.
Oh,
I think that would be the best feature that I could.
crossplay should
I
be
agree.
with every game, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a developer thing, you know. It's a developer battle,
Yeah.
right? They don't want to play nice,
Yeah.
but I wonder because the game right now with the co-op feature that it has, you know, with the blue orbs and everything, we can connect now, and it seems like it's all just one big public server, right? Like if I wanted to invite, we've done the the NMS Olympics, and everyone's been on one planet at the same time. I wonder if it's just going to be
Have you managed
built
to meet
upon
up
that.
with European people? Because I've got a couple of American PC friends that I've not been able to meet, and I was wondering if there was some
really?
kind of
I
geographical reason for that.
haven't.
Well,
I
on
don't know if Deej
PS4
has.
we can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know I've been able to join up with Niblet on numerous occasions, and I know
So
that she
I
is
wonder if it's just
UK.
a PC thing then. Because
It could
for
be.
me and myself, on PC, I've met up with European people, and I've met up with quite a few different. But there's a couple of American people on the Amino Hub who I've tried to meet up with in game, and although they see other people and I see other people, we can't see each other. So I was wondering if it was a
Interesting.
Have
PC
you
kind of server
I
divide
wonder.
somehow.
have you
Yeah,
been in
it
have
could
they
be.
seen people? So you've been in a group and they can see other, say, North American, but they can't see
No,
you.
I haven't seen. We've never had a big enough group to try it all together. But I've seen other European people separately. He's seen other American people separately.
Yeah.
Or he's seen other people separately. But when we go together, we can't see each other.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Very
I
strange.
wonder. I wonder then
Yeah.
how they're gonna do that. Yeah.
Well,
A-
I'm
a
sure
new
it's gonna be
research.
very different.
I'll have to have two characters. I'll have to have a EU and a NA.
Yeah. That's right. You've got two accounts. You've got the PC and you have
That's
PS4,
right.
Dylan.
Yeah. I'll just have to weigh it out. Who's on? How many of my European friends are on PC and how many are on PS4, and I'll take it from there.
Yeah, I think the PC is a bit of a smaller community at the moment.
It is.
It'll be interesting though if Xbox joins with PC, because then it will be huge.
Yeah, I wonder because
Indeed. Yeah.
some of them do, right? There are certain games that are PC and PS4 crossover, and then there's certain games that are
Yeah.
PC and Microsoft crossover. I wonder if No Man's Sky is going to do that.
I'm slightly worried because there's also the possibility that, because at the moment most people that play on PC with No Man's Sky, they do it through Steam,
Mhm.
but there's also some Windows software that you can get it on, and the Windows software is connected to Xbox.
Oh wow.
So a lot
Right.
of the games are there. So it might be that only if you're on the Windows 10 kind of
Yeah.
NMS server will you be able to cross-play with Xbox.
Well, it's possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Xbox, they're one umbrella company.
Yeah.
I know that this isn't new. Cross-platform isn't necessarily new. There is a few games out there that do utilize cross-platforms between PC, Xbox One, and PS4. which one would that one be?
Well, Final Fantasy
car
14.
racing game.
Oh yeah,
Rocket
yeah.
League.
Rocket League, right.
Yeah, that one is full cross-platform, and I've used it as such. I've played with PC players. I've played with my nephew on Xbox One, so it's possible to do it. It's whether or not the contracts and legal ramifications will allow it.
That's what it comes down to,
right?
Red tape.
Because
the almighty
we
dollar.
all know that No Man's Sky was pretty much they're contracted with PlayStation, so. How long does that contract last, and are they willing to lift it in order to have cross-platform, which would lend itself so beautifully to the No Man's Sky game, because
that's a whole galaxy, isn't it?
It is the whole galaxy. Everybody should be able to enjoy it all at the same time on the same server, no matter what platform. And it's just the way the game has sort of worked out and how the communities have all rallied around each other. It makes perfect sense to have that. Whether Sony will allow that to happen, I don't know. I wish I had an eye on some of those contracts to see, but it would be really great to have that. I think to be able to help other new Xbox players, that would be a great thing. PS4 and Xbox playing at the same time on the same server.
I just want to kill an Xbox player and get that sweet helmet they've got.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Alex for over a year now, and it would be nice to actually meet him in game. And that would be really fun because he is PC only. And Alex, I'm not sure if you all are aware, he has a hashtag Forever Alone. There's so few PC players out there, and so Alex has made his game what he wanted it to do. He's found interesting things. He's always found things to do through the whole course of the game, between the updates and so on and so forth. It would really be nice to, definitely see other servers, PC players as well. It is a growing community as well. I've noticed there's more PC players joining the hubs. It would be a really good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like when I share an experience, I want everyone to be able to join that. Like when I put something in the Amino. Whether it's a PlayStation or an Xbox player, I want them to be able to join me on my PC save and show them what I'm talking about, or just share my discoveries with everybody across the board. I think that would be wonderful.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the experience of the game, is to be able to discover and also share them, with others.
And the way that Hello Games implements the ARG and the Waking Titan stuff and the Myriad app and all that stuff, it draws everybody together regardless what system you're playing on. So it would be great to carry that into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be really kind of neat. And they've set it up, for an event, quote, that is supposed to happen when the ARG completes this stage and we get next. So that's all really interesting. What exactly they mean. We're supposed to be defending something in a co-op fashion. So, boy, it sure sounds exciting to me. And I'd sure love it to be co-op in all platforms.
I just want to go do some zoology with DG on a planet somewhere.
Exactly. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I just want someone to chauffeur me around in their roamer.
Yeah.
Drive me around like Miss Daisy. That's all I
wonder
want.
if you could balance your player character on top of someone else's roamer as they drive. That'd be fun.
That would, you know what? That it might just be possible in the way the game that they're describing. Well, yeah, because you, as they say, you can see other player models. Sorry, let me rephrase that. As the speculation says, that according to the Columbian news article, that we are able to see other characters, although we cannot see ourselves, we can only see our own shadow. It stands to reason that other character should be able to interact with other things on screen, including shooting that other player with your multi-tool. You would think you'd be able to stand on their
head,
exocraft,
or
even their ship.
On their ship. Can you imagine that?
Someone
flies up to space with you balanced on the ship.
Right, like a
surfboard. That could be dangerous PC.
I've always said, I've always said too, when this thing drops, like the first few hours, it's just gonna be a bunch of us doing ridiculous things like that. Like hey, let's see if we can get like a totem pole, and just everybody stand on top of each other's heads, and we'll take a picture of it or something.
10 people standing on my ship, and I'll
Yeah.
take it up into space.
Yeah.
Everybody jump down.
Yeah.
Hits the ground first.
Just line up like bowling pins, and I'll drive into you with my roamer.
Oh boy, yeah. We think we kill animals badly.
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing too, and I know we've talked about this too, Deej, but how do you feel about that, Alex? The PvP aspect of it. I know some people are really nervous about it. Some people are open and welcoming it. How do you feel about PvP in No Man's Sky?
I don't think there's any chance that PvP will be so severe with its consequences that it will damage anything.
Yeah.
Kind of severely. So, for example, if I'm a permadeath player and I'm experienced whatever, and then some other permadeath player comes along and kills me, I don't think that will be the end of my save somehow. It will maybe penalize me. Maybe I'll lose some resources, or I'll have to pay him a fine or something to survive or carry on.
You know what I was kind of hoping for too.
It'll be very severe.
Somewhat like a survival death, right? It's severe, but it's not end game.
Because I mean, if it's end game, then permadeath won't be a valid playthrough. Because there's no way you could play if people could gang up on you and just kill you.
It'd be an awesome, feat though if you could make it.
well,
But I wonder if they'll have like how they have like the defense chits and things like that when you can be hailed by an NPC and you can opt out of fighting. I wonder if you'll be able to do that with players as well. If there's like an option for you to maybe warp out of there before they can lock onto you or something like that.
Or maybe it'll just be like it'll shoot you down and it'll almost kill you, but then doesn't kill you, but then you're kind of defeated.
Yeah.
And then in that defeated state, you lose some rep points, or lose some resource points, or percentage of your units you lose.
Yeah.
For example.
Or even crash land on the planet with damaged equipment.
Maybe.
Oh,
that would be
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thrusters no longer work. You just crash land. Yeah, you're alive, but your ship's really broken.
And in that way, I mean, that can even be fun as well. You don't mind particularly if somebody picks on you and shoots you down.
Yeah, that would actually be good. And then
the other thing is, you should just be able to warp away. As it is now, like unless there's a way to follow people through the various systems that they go to.
Yeah.
If
Well,
I
they'd
were
have
to
to track them somehow.
nobody's going to be able to find me.
Yeah.
No. There's no way of tracking anybody that's bouncing from system to system in an infinite amount of system galaxy.
Yeah, they don't know which one you're warping to.
No, it's so vast. I mean, I've said it before. PvP may seem scary, but in such a vast universe as No Man's Sky, you got to find that guy first.
Yeah.
I think it can be really fun, though. I think.
Oh, I agree.
Well, there's certain PvP elements that could be really hilarious.
Yeah.
It could. Yeah, there's a lot of games that you can do with the PvP aspect. You can conduct war games, if you know, kind of thing, like paintball or whatever. Organized.
I was thinking
in an organized fashion.
They could make co-op huge planetary nukes that are really difficult to create. That takes whole colonies to create, and then you can destroy one planet in the game.
Could you imagine?
Basically, all the
Like
hubs would have their own nuke as a deterrent.
You just build your own Death Star,
Pretty much.
That concept.
That'd be wild. The thing with PvP too, and the thing that I'm looking forward to is just the feeling you get of like realism. It just adds that like you can not run into any other players and do any PvP yourself, but just knowing that you're flying through space and that danger is there, like to me that just makes the game more of a simulation. It makes it more realistic, and I'm
problem is
welcoming
it's weighted so far in the danger stakes. Like most of us who have stuck with No Man's Sky so far, like us old timers as it were, we're probably more of the people that if we were to meet some random person, we would try to make friends or try to engage or whatever. Wouldn't necessarily the first thing to do because shoot that person on sight.
Yeah, which is probably the what they would adopt themselves, which is shoot first, ask later.
The problem is if the PvP is implemented in such a way that more or less it's going to be so dangerous to meet some random people that you lose all the kind of benefits of friendly
Yeah.
meetups.
I think if you see a guy with the Xbox exclusive helmet on, you should just run. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. And I mean, it's not that far away. What is it? Less than a month
Less
now.
than a month.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's gonna be a grueling month, I think, waiting for that. But man, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So
we've
we're
got lots to keep us busy.
oh
We do.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's still much research in various fields to be done.
Oh yeah.
I know myself, I've probably got a ton of editing once Next does drop to go through a lot of wikis and things that I've made in the past and try and update them for the communities and so on like that. But it's going to be really great having another update dropped on us. It just keeps getting better for this game. And no matter what they have in store with PvP or not, we will always find a way to enjoy this game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of the old timers, as you say, Alex, we just like what they've given us. And every time they give us more, we find ways of doing what we want to do and enjoy ourselves, be it in a hub atmosphere or a nomad. And you're one of the lucky ones to have experienced both kinds of ways of playing. You're a fixture in the Amino Hub. For ever since I've ever joined. I think you're one of the originals. I'm not sure, but you've been there forever. And then for you to uproot and just say, all right, I'm gonna go to the center. That's experiencing the nomadic life of traveling and moving on and seeing the other galaxies and all the different variants of things that can be seen in this game.
Yeah.
You see so much more of a selection of those variants traveling through those galaxies and seeing a tranquil galaxy, for example, or a raging galaxy, all the different things. And even the glitch that you said occurred on the 200th galaxy could even be part of the game where it's meant to be difficult to get there. I know in the 19th galaxy, we discovered glyphs don't really matter anymore. It doesn't matter what you punch in, it still puts you 6,000 light years, 5,500 light years to the center. No matter what, you can enter any one of those 16 glyphs 12 times. You'll still get the exact, not the same location, but you'll always get 5,500 light years away. But that only occurs after the 18th galaxy. And you don't know that until you start to experiencing it. It was an experiment. We didn't even know it occurred until things weren't working right. We couldn't find each other. None of the portal addresses worked. And then as we kept moving through the galaxies, we kept trying. Well, what happens if I just hit whatever galaxy, a known address to somewhere that's a greater distance away, and it still sent you where 5,000.
That's really interesting. I wonder if those galaxies are smaller then.
Well, I think it may have something to do with when they took the servers offline, and they haven't updated it all yet. Like, I think we're still in limbo until Next drops.
Yeah.
And then everything gets linked together. There may be some data loss in the time that they've had the servers offline. Maybe not. I don't know. But it kind of lends itself that way, the way they've done it, taking themselves off, and everybody's been experiencing server issues here and there. It has to be better when Next drops, or multiplayer won't even exist. So there's a reason for what's going on. Nobody just has been able to pinpoint it.
Yeah.
I end up finding out that the 255th galaxy, which for me is the final galaxy, happens to be a raging galaxy.
Oh, wow.
So I've been exploring it, and everywhere I land is basically double extreme. It's been
Oh, really?
So I've ended up now, today actually, I've decided to fly back to the 250th galaxy.
Okay.
Which is a lush galaxy. And I touched down on this lush galaxy, and when I spawned into it, I ended up on a lush planet with calm sentinels, calm weather, beautiful dense purple forests, and there were diplos there as well.
Oh, wow.
So I found a dream planet.
That's an all-in-one.
Spawning into this galaxy.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's hard to find.
I put some pictures up on the Amino, so you'll see that.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to look,
streaming it earlier, yeah.
Oh,
I've headed off towards the center now to explore. I didn't realize before as well that in the lush galaxies, it's only the yellow star systems that are really affected by it.
Yes.
I hadn't really appreciated that before.
Yeah. Yeah. The yellow stars have a higher chance of being paradise or lush planets.
Yeah.
And it's the same in all the other ones, like raging, right?
Yeah.
The yellow stars have a higher chance of being nasty and extreme sentinels. So it almost kind of pays to go and look for those blue stars again and the red stars, which would be more accustomed to our random, to what we're used to, and say like the Euclid, right? Which is it's just a galaxy. I think they call it an imperfect galaxy, much like Hilbert.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting how the different odds are used in the RNG game for the different galaxies, right?
Yeah.
And there's 255 of them, so they've got to have some kinds of differences, and I like how they've done that.
Now the good thing is I know if I want to, I can get back to Euclid with my current up-to-date save, just by going through. So that's kind of given me the freedom to.
It has,
or getting a new ship or what have you.
It's one of the reasons why I haven't gone and made the jump myself. Is I was well on my way, and I stopped playing that save for a little while, or stop advancing that save, because I didn't want to cross over and be stuck in a new whole universe where I wouldn't be able to interact with others again. I sort of stalled it up and waited, and I'm hanging out in limbo around the 100th galaxy, kind of checking things out here and there. It might give me another reason to go and see if I get the same outcome as you.
It'd be very interesting to find out, particularly as you're on PlayStation.
And to have that normal legacy save back in the Euclid after so much time has passed. Dylan, you know what I'm talking about, that save that you and I met. That one's out there.
Yeah.
I still got that one running.
Back in the Euclid would be really interesting to see. Because I left the Euclid in that save within a month of the game drop.
Yeah. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, we jumped through it together.
So much has happened since then.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I know that was like vanilla No Man's Sky, right? Like, it's amazing to think of the all the crazy things they've added and how it's just normal to us now. You know?
Yeah, and how we've had to triangulate to find each other before there was even multiplayer. It was
no portals.
Pretty amazing things.
Crazy. So it's only going to get better. And I'm pretty confident that No Man's Sky Next isn't going to be their last update either. I think they're just going to keep pumping things into this game as time goes on.
It may not be bigger than Next, but I agree with you. There's probably many more updates to come.
Yeah.
And whether they charge us or not, I'd still pay for it.
Me too.
Great, amazing content they give us every time, and so far it's all been free.
Yeah.
Talk about an entertainment investment. I paid $70 for the game Canadian when it came out brand new on launch day, and I haven't bought another game since. That $70 has kept me going for 2 years of solid entertainment gameplay. What can you say? That's just really good vibes from HG. Hello Games has done a really good job in keeping the fan base and growing new fan base, and it's just going to get better, like you said, Dylan.
Yeah, it's one
There's
thing
so
when
much that can still be improved as well. Like, when you've got galaxies and galaxies to work with, there's so much you can do. So in essence, you're never going to run out of things that you could be adding if you wanted to.
Oh, well,
it's infinite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the perfect game, like the perfect foundation to just keep building things upon.
Yeah.
You know. But on that note,
I'm looking forward to building bases together. I think that's going to be really fun.
Oh,
we haven't even touched on that. That's a fantastic thing to bring into the game.
I was going to say too, and he mentioned in that interview on Inside Xbox too that you should be able to build colonies across planets as well.
I mean, that's just awesome when you think of it. Think of the potential.
It is, yeah.
I hope it's free, like, or you can build with more freedom. Like now, for example, your home base, you have to be in a certain point.
Right.
But it would be so cool if you could build the base wherever you want on the planet.
That's what I'm hoping for too.
Location.
Yeah, like an arc.
Because you'd find these wonderful mountains or lakes or ravines, and you'd have a base right on the edge or something. And
or in a cave or something, or
or for that matter, water. Yeah.
And there's no reason that they can't. I mean, I know like people have modded stuff, and you can with the mods. There's freedom on PC to plant things any way you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the possibility is there. So I really hope they don't have so many restrictions.
Yeah, and I hope there's no
Yeah.
like the build limit, or at least increase the build limit, because I want to see these crazy bases, like you say, especially if it's
they
multiple.
must have increased the build limit, because there's no way you can have colonies.
Yeah.
They have to.
If the base limit is like very restricted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have had to have increased it. If at the very least keep our own complexity limits the same, but on a multiplayer scale, each one could be added up to a certain amount.
Yeah.
Would seem appropriate. But I mean, personally, I'd like to have my own complexity limit raised, and I think a lot of other players too.
Actually, that
more components,
can you imagine
building
if you've
components.
got complete freedom to build whatever you want, wherever you want, with other people.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
That would be absolute freedom in the game, to be able to build anywhere on any planet with as many people, as big as you want. You can only imagine an entire city being built, in one of the capital city systems of Amino Hub, or TOG, or any of those other fantastic hubs.
You know, what'd be cool is
Amazing.
like you just mentioned, if you had your own personal limit, and then that way you can only build giant colonies if you have a large group of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
The only
Would actually
problem
be a fun
that
mechanic.
I see with the current game mechanics is, for me personally, I mean, I know people don't mind doing this, but for me personally, I've always liked to be able to play a mode where I'm using resources that I have to kind of farm myself, rather than like creative mode where you can build everything for free.
Right.
Yes.
If they make it so that you're still restricted in your modes to see things and what have you, then basically everyone's going to do all the building in creative mode.
Yeah.
And then the other saves in like normal or survival or what have you would become almost redundant in that sense.
Yeah.
It has changed that. Yeah, you're right, Alex. Creative has taken over in terms of building. Even another side effect to creative is people are using their creative accounts as a backup or an assisting research accounts, or a scout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They bring in the creative save, and you go around and you warp to all the systems. It costs nothing. You explore. It's mirrored as your discovery, and then you just go and bring your regular save in there, and you know exactly where to go. You don't waste warp fuel or resources, and it's just all there, which is really kind of interesting. Will that change in Next? Will they nerf the creative accounts so that you can't do that anymore? Be interesting. It would be really interesting. Yeah.
I personally, I do like to have the element of having to farm your resources, having to plan out what you're going to do, and
same.
having access to everything completely for free. Kind of, it takes a huge part of the game away. So.
Yeah. It does. It takes away from some of the earning aspect that you get when you play the game. Although the unlimited research is very nice, I have to admit. I've used it many times myself.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, these days it doesn't take long to craft a few hundred warp cells, really. When you know how to do it.
Once you've gotten set, it doesn't take long. I can put a whole farm together with max complexity in a single day.
Yeah.
You just, after a while, you get enough resources built up in your base cache. You just raid your own base, take what you need, build it, and it's there.
It's just part of the fun.
That's
that's the game's. It's such a big part of the game's mechanic, right? That's what you do. Is it always requires something to do something, right? So
managing resources. It's in the game description.
But it's only in the normal modes or the survival modes.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Which are my favorite modes. Yeah, I love my survival mode. That is one of my favorite modes. It is.
Did you ever play Permadeath yet?
Believe it or not, I have not. I've got 5 saves, and none of them are permadeath.
I think one day, if you ever start permadeath, it will become your main mode, because
it will be an epic mode.
I started the same kind of. I initially started survival, but as soon as permadeath came out, I kind of switched over to permadeath.
I did the same.
Yeah, it feels
back
real.
since then.
I did the same. I ended up losing 110 days of permadeath, but the time that I spent in permadeath, it becomes your normal. It just feels natural and all that.
You love it. Yeah.
You do.
And, sometimes always looking over your shoulder, you get that feeling as it would be as if you're exploring the universe. You don't know what's out there. You don't know what's watching you or anything like that. Permadeath is a very good mode. I personally do want to do it. I've been waiting for the right time, but I always seem to find lots of other things to be doing.
There's always something.
There's always another research paper or more this or that.
Since I've reached this extreme galaxy, this 255, I've actually been playing a lot of HUD-less permadeath, turning the HUD off.
Oh wow!
Oh, very cool.
Just for fun, but it's actually quite fun to do space battles without the HUD on, because you don't know where they are exactly, so you have to pay attention to things a bit more, look at your kind of heads-up display a bit more.
Yeah, the radar.
It's really worth having a go. If you've not done it before, turn your HUD off and do some space battles.
When I play Permadeath,
it's a new challenge. It's a great challenge.
I try to avoid pirates on Permadeath. You're talking about turning the HUD off and making it harder.
Well, it's fun. And it is really
if you
fun.
say so.
I find it fun.
Everybody has their challenges, right?
Oh man, I find it hard just to get to my ship. You're talking about jumping into space battle blindfolded.
Well, to be fair, I do have an S-class ship with fully upgraded weapons, so I suppose it's fun for me.
Well,
it does make a difference. Although when PvP comes in, you'll be fighting against other S-class ships.
Oh yeah.
Yes. PvP flights, that'll be a bit more challenging. I might not turn the HUD off for that one.
Yeah, different tactics. People play very much harder than any NPC, so that's going to be really interesting how space battles go with other multiplayer.
You'd also have a meta for how your weapons and stuff are built, because so far it doesn't really matter which weapons you use to kill things, because eventually you'll kill anything. But if you're in a PvP situation, some weapons are going to be better than others.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Soon you're quickly going to find out if whatever you've got, your infra knife, is hopeless against somebody who's got whatever, like Cyclone Blister,
positron ejector or something. Exactly.
Yeah, you can have that great positron ejector, but if you're shooting from a great distance, it isn't going to help you at all. Using those weapons in tandem, combination of weapons is definitely going to start being a thing, I think. Dog fights, different kinds of tactics. I know a lot of people, when they get into a space battle, they just it's one spot and they line themselves up and shoot them down. And it works effectively as the game is now. But you won't be able to do that against another regular player because he's not going to sit still. He's going to move around. He's going to try and get behind you.
Unpredictable.
There's going to be a lot more maneuvering and dog fights.
You're not going to be able to fight with your haulers that can hardly maneuver. You're going to have to get a proper fighter ship that can.
Yeah, you're very right about that. The haulers are slow. It's like flying a brick, isn't it?
And you got to look out for groups too, right? And I think that'll be an exciting element, is having like group battles, like say 2 of us against 2 or 3 other opponents, having one guy lock on with his phase beams to melt somebody's shields, and then someone else finishes them off with the positron ejector or something, like that. It's just going to be wild.
Or you fly up to the space station, you've finally collected a full hauler of stasis devices, you're about to get a couple of billions of units, and then some pirate comes in, your poor hauler with no weapons installed.
All that hard work.
They shoot it down. They get all your stasis devices.
And that's that element,
game.
That's that element of realism, right? That's going to just be an exciting feeling, I think. But before we go, Alex, is there any advice that you want to give to anybody that's starting out on their permadeath runs, that wants to get to the core?
Oh, goodness me. Advice. Permadeath, it's all about resource management and making sure you're always stocked up. That's the only thing that really matters. As long as you have stuff to charge your shields up with, stuff to charge your engines with, stuff to charge your suit with, you're going to survive. That's the advice. Make sure you've got everything that you need before you contemplate doing anything.
All right, I'm writing this down.
Great advice. Definitely.
I'm writing this down because I'm gonna start my permadeath again one of these days. I was a little heartbreaking when I lost everything, but I do want to get that challenge completed.
I
It's
think
good
when
fun.
Next comes out, it'll give us more of what HG had in mind for the game on release.
Oh yeah,
Therefore,
for sure.
Permadeath might actually have a little bit more meaning for the players that are playing it. And not to take anything away from what you've done in Permadeath all this up till now, Alex, but it may give us something a little bit new or more refreshing
Yeah,
to
definitely.
look forward to. And I know
The only
myself,
thing
I
which
was
is
waiting for that, but I just have, this last
Yeah.
update was close. But Next is going to be way more to what the
Yeah.
developers had.
Are
in
you
mind.
going to start a fresh game when Next comes out? Do you reckon?
Well, I probably will. I'll have to delete one of my saves unless they've given us a new set of saves to go with. I don't know if they'll increase any more than what they have at 5. That takes up a lot of data on their own personal cloud servers. So it'll be interesting to see if they add more or what happens.
Who knows?
I would
Maybe
suspect
we'll all
I would
have to start from the beginning.
Yeah,
well, I
wonder.
don't think they'll. I don't think they'll kill all our accounts. I think that the fact that they've taken the servers offline, and that's the proof right there. They're going to ghost what the universe that we've created already onto the ghost they're about to unleash on us, or the ghost universe they're about to unleash on us. They gotta somehow. You've got to put those two together. How do you do that when things are changing every day? People build new bases, new discoveries. At some point, you have to take it offline and do something with it, which is why I say we may lose some data for those months where we were having server issues. Who knows? Whatever it is in store HG has for us, we're all going to love it.
I agree.
We are.
I agree. Well
And
put, my friend.
we'll rebuild if we need to.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I have no problem. If I lose my save, I lose my save. It's
If it was a fresh start, it would suck for a second. You know what I mean? As soon as you start playing the game and you meet up with your pals, no one's gonna care if it was a fresh restart. You know what I mean? I think it's just gonna be a refreshing feel, and
because everyone's on the same playing field again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is a great way to go, in my opinion. But
I agree.
At the same time, a lot of people put so much time into those saves.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame to lose them, but who knows?
If we have to have a fresh start, DG, start Permadeath.
I intend to. Yeah, no, I intend to for sure. Permadeath and a normal for sure. You got to have a tandem, two different kinds of accounts. I do love my normal account. It is it's fantastic. I think that's how they originally had in mind how the game was to be played is in normal mode. But the difficulties and the challenges they give you in survival and permadeath, that's the challenge that people want to have. Always looking over their shoulder, never knowing. Those are great challenges.
Yeah, see, I felt when they brought in survival with Foundation, when they brought in survival, I thought, to me, that felt like how it was meant to be, because all of a sudden your hazard protections and things like that, they mattered. Like you really needed, things like that. And your resource consumption, is a lot. It's more grand on that scale. And then of course when they brought in permadeath, it was just like, now this is hardcore.
Well, it's the same thing, really. It's
Yeah.
just that you've only got one life.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. Apart from that, though, everything else, the survival aspect is the same.
Yeah, and most survival players, they have it is their original save anyways, because that was sort of the thing when survival came out, was life one, right? Nobody wanted to die on that survival save. It had to be the original one without death and so on and so forth, and that's just carried on through. And when Permadeath came out, everybody dropped survivor, picked up Permadeath, and it's the same game mode. You just don't have that backup option should you happen to die. If you die, that's it.
I remember that actually. There were streamers, guys that were streaming the game, and just like you said, they were doing permadeath before permadeath was a thing. They were playing survival, and if they died, they would start over again.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I wonder if that's just that's obviously got to be Hello Games again listening to the fans too, right? They probably noticed that. And then they thought, shit, let's just give them a permadeath mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they definitely listen to the fans.
Because they're so good at listening.
There's been too many coincidences. There's been too many coincidences where, people have cried out and something has happened and it's fixed or remedied or
if
whatever.
If they bring in some type of asteroid mining where it's like some real in-depth mining, then I will be so friggin' happy. You know, I want them to listen to me. God damn it.
Yeah,
That's what ring planets are for.
Yeah.
exactly, Alex. Ring planets. I can't wait to see ring planets and the possibility of better mining in space.
That's what I'm. That's what I'm
fun.
hoping with those rings. You know, maybe we can stop or warp up to those belts and just, you know, maybe the
Maybe
minerals
you just
there.
use them for cover in PvP.
That too.
Yes,
would be awesome.
That would
Yeah.
be awesome. Yes.
Oh, the dog fighting that you can get into, you know, through an asteroid belt would be wild.
Or even life forms on asteroids, like in Star Wars. That landed on an asteroid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bring that giant sandworm already. Let's go. I'm ready for it, man. I still
Only
have
in the 255th galaxy. You
Yeah,
have to get all the way out here to see sandworms.
I was just gonna say, I've got this. I still have this like hope that it's in the game right now, and it's been in the game since day one, but it exists on one planet. Yeah, one of the 18 quintillion planets. It's there somewhere.
That plays into the game too, right?
Yeah,
just how they've done it.
Yeah, oh, I can't wait. Well, on that note, gentlemen, this has been an awesome conversation, and I hate to cut it off, but I got to get to my stream. I've got to get my dogs outside and all that jazz. But I want to thank DG, thank you for reaching out to Alex and getting him to come on the show. And Alex, man, it's so nice to meet you and to have you on the show and talk about your permadeath journey, as well as your hopes for No Man's Sky Next, and your thoughts on that update. And I just really appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was good fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Alex. You know, hopefully you've inspired many other players to do the same and cross over. It's a wonderful feeling to do it, and I'm glad others are catching on. And I'm glad that you started to do it as well, and started to see some of what I used to see and talk about so many times in the Amino. So it's a real pleasure having you on the show today.
Okay. Well,
Thank
all
you.
the best, guys. See you later.
Yeah. Thanks
Take care,
a lot,
Alex.
Thanks, buddy. And everybody watching in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us for the live recording. We will be uploading this to YouTube as well. So anyone who's listening to this, the archived version, you're a wonderful person, and thank you very much. And I'll see you guys. I'll see the Nerd League in about 10 minutes. I'm going to run upstairs, grab a coffee, and then we're going to start the stream. And DG, you have a wonderful day, my friend, and we'll do this again next Monday.
Thank you as well. Hopefully we're going to have Lily Hop, owner of the cafe, on the show next week. So that's it's going to be fantastic. And thanks again, everyone. Nerd League forever.
No Man's Sky is life.